It's my understanding that you have worked a plea bargain with the state and that you wish to enter a plea. Before I let you do that, I have to put on the record, an official record that Ms. Kayleen Rivera is preparing. She's a certified court reporter. We're making an official record that I am informing you of particular rights and protections that you have under the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas. First of all, you have the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make a statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit papers that have your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. Secondly, well, first, do you understand you have the right to remain silent?
Yes, I do.
Secondly, you have the right to a jury trial. That means you and your attorney could select 6 people with the state, 6 people from a pool of disinterested U.S. citizens that would hear all of the evidence, see whatever is presented, and those 6 people would decide whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt or whether you're not guilty. You understand you have the right to a jury trial.
Yes, I do.
You have the right to confront witnesses. That means that you, if you decided to go to trial, the state would have to present witnesses to try and prove their case. You and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness that would testify. It's all the right of confrontation. You understand you have that right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You also have the right of appeal. When this case is over, you and your attorney would have the right to demand that a higher court review all the evidence, the official record, the evidence in this matter, for whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. You'd have to be careful because there's certain requirements of form and substance as far as the documentation. Also, you have certain time limitations. You understand you have the right to appeal.
Yes, I do.
And finally, you have the right to demand that this proceeding be held in the open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. But in order to proceed, it is my observation and my belief that you have signed a document that consents to us to proceeding in the open, rather in the video conference technology. Do you understand that you have agreed to that?
Yes, I do.
You did sign a document.
Yes, I did.
Finally, ma'am, you also have signed various documents for this pleading. Those documents are important. Did you review them with your attorney before you signed them?
Yes, I did.
Each document that you signed, you did review with your attorney.
Yes, I did.
All right, to begin with, you've already admitted or agreed that you signed a consent to video conference. Also, there is a very critical document that is called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It has, among other things, it declares that you acknowledge that you have had your rights and protections explained to you and discussed with you. It also informs you of a variety of things, including that whatever agreement you have made with the state, it is not binding on the court. I, as a judge, have the authority and responsibility to accept or reject. I have to say yes or no, your plea bargain. Also, I have the authority to provide you a punishment in accordance with the offense to which you plead. If I reject your bargain, or I give you a punishment within the range, but that is greater or heavier than what you agreed to, the law would allow you to start all over. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right. There's also the document I'm referring to, the Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. Did you, in fact, sign it with the advice and consent of your attorney?
Yes, I did.
Did you also sign a document that acknowledges or a certification by me that tells you that because you are entering a plea bargain, you do not have a right of appeal? Did you understand that and did you sign it?
Yes, I did.
All right. Now, state, essentially, what are we doing on this? What is the plea to what?
Your Honor, I'm not sure what plea she's entering, but she's going to be entering a plea on the 561906 case for 6 months deferred adjudication, $200 fine, fully probated, 24 hours community service, a TSE, and the state will take into consideration 623,845.
6 what?
623,845.
All right. Ms. Benavides,
Yes.
you have signed an application for deferred adjudication. Do you understand that?
Yes.
A deferred adjudication, ma'am, is a type of community supervision wherein regardless or despite a plea on which I can go ahead and convict you, if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the case will be dismissed and you're not convicted of it, of what you're pleading to. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you violate the conditions, either fail or refuse to live up to 100% of those conditions, the state can ask me to bring you in after official notice for a hearing. Subsequent to that, if I believe it is appropriate, then I can enter a final conviction that'll follow you the rest of your life. You understand that?
I do, sir.
All right. Then to the charge of theft, $750 to $2,500. How do you plead, ma'am? What is your official plea?
No contest.
A no contest plea in this court is considered a guilty plea. And based on that alone, I can convict you. Do you understand that?
I do.
Did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or promise you anything other than the plea agreement in exchange for your plea of no contest? Ms. Benavides,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I have the bad flu.
did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or
No, sir.
promise you anything in exchange
sir.
for your plea? All right.
No, sir.
Based on your plea of no contest and the evidence, I find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. I instead grant you 6 months deferred adjudication. You are fined in accordance with your agreement $200, of which the $200 is probated. That means that if you live up to 100% of the conditions, with the exception of the $200 fine, then the case gets dismissed and you don't have to pay the $200. You will perform 24 hours of community service restitution. You'll participate in and complete the anti-theft, the ATSE course. In accordance with the agreement, the court will dismiss case number 623-845. How do you make a living, ma'am?
I'm disabled.
You're disabled, okay.
Yes.
Do you have any children you support?
No.
All right. I will waive the supervisory fee because of the circumstances of your disability. Any questions, state?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, defense?
Yeah, Your Honor, I don't know if you need to put this on the record, but I did speak with the state in negotiating this. This is an incident that arises from 2017, and they said they would have no opposition to an early termination, Judge. My client has gone through several major surgeries in the interim. That's what's taken us a long time for us to come before this court, but we'd ask the court's open consideration for that.
Well, the court will not refuse to do so, you'll have to submit an appropriate motion, and I can foresee no reason why I should not. Complete the
Thank you.
CSR hours, the ATSE, and I think we'll be all right.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Benavides, within 7 days, if you are free of your flu and stuff, otherwise 14 days, come in, you have to submit your thumbprint on the documents in this matter. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And do not leave this proceeding or this hearing until you have visited with Maricela Luna. She is the court liaison officer. Is there somebody else, Patty?
No, I'm here, Judge.
Okay, I see you. All right,
Judge, what was the supervisory fee?
I waived the supervisory fee.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. May be excused.
Anybody else? Be sure that you don't come in as long as you're infectious, your flu, please.
I won't.
All right.
Patty,
Attorney,
can you put me
anybody
in
have
the-
to report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello. Attorneys,